Okay, let's watch the interview. Ayan, no? Ayan, no? Of our president, our beloved president, Bongbong Marcos, with the mainstream media, CNN, Channel 7, etc. So, of course, I'm going to have my comments, in regards to what he's saying. So let's listen. Forward ka na.
Our losses are dropping. Good afternoon, Mr. President and Karen, and thank you so much for doing this. So I'll be asking you two questions, but you have to forgive me that the first question will be what we call the context in it for agriculture. Our losses are driving farmers to desperation. Some farmers already taking their own lives. In Davos, you said you would only step down as Agri Secretary if you ticked off items in your bucket list. My question is, what is in that list? And what will you specifically do to implement for farmers to feel a change in their lives today, in the short and medium term?
As a matter of fact, I'm glad you brought that up because it's we always have been talking about production, non-importation, etc.
Yeah.
And we have to always remind ourselves that what we are really talking about is the livelihood of the farmers as well. Not only the supply of food, but of the pricing of food, but also the livelihood of farmers and the future of farmers. I mean, I think it's a much quoted statistic that in the Philippines, the average farmer is 57, 58 years old, and the young people are not that interested in farming. So there are all of these multifaceted problems that we face in terms of agriculture. So again, in the short term, the increasing prices of food products is alarming, and that's why we now have to, whatever we do, we must import. I think my sentiments about importation are clear, but it is an emergency situation that has been brought about by neglect of the agricultural sector for many years, and therefore our production is well below our demand. Therefore, we must import. So,
anyway, ito yung ginawa niya sa sibuyas. Okay? Kaya yung sinabi niya may nagpakamatay. Because meron isang farmer ng sibuyas, I think si Mindanao or Nueva Ecija or something, sinugal niya lahat ng savings niya because of, yun nga, mataas yung sibuyas, no? It's 500, 700. So kung kunyari, mangungutang ako, puhunan ko is like 100,000, pero pag nabenta ko at 500, kikitain ko is 500,000, then of course I will gamble, no? The problem was, no, alam na nila mag-harvest time, okay? Bigla niyang inapprove yung importation. Alam ni si Amy Marcos nagsabi na next month harvest season na ng sibuyas. Tapos doon ka nag-approve ng importation. Ba't di mo inapprove yung importation nung how many months na yung sibuyas at taas sa presyo? Okay?
Because of the chaos that we saw with the question when it came to sugar, when it came to the onions, we didn't know how much of the commodity was actually in the country. We're starting to get a handle on it now, and so we are going
wait. Sabi niya, we don't know how much stock we have in the country. Ikaw ang head of Department of Agriculture. You should have an inventory of all the warehouses in the country. And your USEC secretary should be the one to report it to you. O ito lang, President, ito yung sibuyas natin. Kailangan na natin mag-import dahil pataas ang presyo. Nauubusan tayo or may nag-hoarding. Diba? Kaya tanggal si Colonita Carlos Yung sinumbong niya yung mga holders ng sibuyas. Diba?
Sugar, I mentioned specifically before that we will now, from now on, maintain a 2-month buffer stock. That is to mitigate the the speculation. Alam mo, normal yan eh.
2 months buffer, bakit? Is that a fucking new solution? Don't you think you should have implemented it ever since? To have a buffer? Sino tanga naman ng may stock room or may warehouse na hindi nagbabuffer? Common sense dito ka naman.
Sa negosyante, pag alam nila magkaka-shortage, then you keep it hanggang tumaas yung presyo. Maybe you can call that hoarding, but it's a business practice. And that's what we hope to avoid.
What? It's a business practice hoarding. Tapos ko lang nagsabotan. Ano normal? Para sa mo normal na mag-hoard.
In terms of onions naman, ganun pa rin ang sitwasyon. We are not producing as much as we consume. And therefore, we still have to import.
Not producing. Walang shortage ng onion. Ang problema, yung mga kasamahan nyo na nag-hoard at nagko-control, tinatago yung mga sibuyas. Okay? Yung mga sindikato kasi mga kaibigan nyo.
Import. But the schedule of importation, both of sugar, onion, all of the other commodities, the schedule is very, very important. It's not just a question of one lump importation at the beginning of the year.
Sino ba nagsabi mag-i-import ka ng sibuyas once a year? What a stupid statement. Di nabulok yung sibuyas. Siyempre, seasonal yun.
It has to come in at the proper time. So you're not competing with local farmers. So that's a very simple
Kaya ang wine,
Pag maayos na yan, that is one box that I will say I've been able to tick. Now but we come back to the problem of production. So that again, we still have to put into place. Once I know that the value chain has already been put together, never mind that it's functioning yet, but we already know what needs to be done, what needs to be done in each part of that value chain. And we have the means and we have a plan. Then we will have a secretary who will then take my place and will implement that plan. So alam natin yung nakakaintindi sa ating ginagawa. So,
failure ka na nga as Department of Agriculture Secretary. Lahat ng kaletse-letse na. Asukal, sibuyas, itlog, asin. Ano pa?
So those are the essential elements that I'm talking about. There's some reorganization that needs to be done in the Department of Agriculture for the simple reason that we are doing different things from what we were doing before. And so we have to restructure the bureaucracy in like fashion.
Bureaucracy. Don't you think dapat ginawa mo na yan noong unang panahon pa na tanggalin yung bureaucracy? Ngayon mo lang naiisip na tatanggalin mo yung bureaucracy. Ano ba naman to? Yan ang binoto nyo.
I wanted to ask, you said you have a bucket list that needs to be ticked off. Would you share some? I mean,
That's basically it. I mean, within that subject matter, hindi lang yan. I mean, if you go into detail, there are still very many things that you can do.
O sige, marami ka na sa bucket list. Sige na, you stay as Department, Secretary of Department of Agriculture.
You need to do. In terms of production,
Kaya, no,
we have to enter that we are trying to adopt new techniques for farming that's actually we will be able to use new technology, new variety, start with all the and especially in the area of agriculture, the overarching issue is climate change. We're having a very tough time scheduling these things because the weather keeps changing. And that one of the reasons I've also made contact with several other countries and my counterparts in several countries, is that we are trying to develop what we refer to as non-traditional suppliers. And because of the price of fertilizer, the lack of export of wheat, rice, of course, is another thing that we import. Corn, we are going to have to import. But with the shocks that have hit the global economy and with the supply chain problems that we see everywhere, then that is something that we have to work around. And the way to do it is to have many sources of supply so that whatever happens, we have somewhere to go. Hopefully down the road, in a few years, we no longer have to worry about non-traditional supply because we will be able to produce enough for ourselves.
Mr. President, about the Maharlika Wealth Fund, Congressman Joey Salceda talked about a re-engineered fund. And I wanted to ask you, he said he described it as the securitization of 44 billion pesos, and it will be listed in the stock market. You have lawmakers, opposition lawmakers, who say that under the law, 50% of the income of GOCCs have to be remitted to the National Treasury, and we use it for the budget. So along with that, how could you ensure that the fund won't be used for money laundering, given you will be accepting private funding?
There's two in one there.
Yes.
We'll do the first one first. First of all, the idea of using the GOCCs to put value into the Maharlika Fund was broached in Davos. And it was brought up. I don't know why it's.
Kaya mo na, medyo boring to, lipat ko na, no? Fast forward ko. Kasi hirap ang tatagal tayo. Kasi this is a fucking 1-hour interview.
We worry about the fund being used as a money laundering device implies that private monies will be put into.
In the first place, yung question mo, Karen Davila, kabobohan din. Kung money laundering yan, ba't lang di declare money laundering? Tinago nila yon. May pinasok na pera dyan, you will not know kung money launder John or galing sa nakaw or galing kanino. What a stupid question. Ito naman, explain.
The fund. But yes, private monies will be involved with the fund, but it's not a savings account that you just put it there and it stays there. No, what will happen is the Maharlika Fund will serve as the seed fund for the sovereign wealth fund, and the 40 billion, 30 billion, 40 billion, whatever it may come to at that point, is going to serve as a seed money for the fund. Now, whenever we come into partnership, we do a GPG with Japan, for example, or we do a PPP with some big outfit, then that is only the time that the monies come into the fund to be used for the program. Hindi yun basta, o sige, bigyan niyo ako ng ilang billion dolyar, tapos lalagay na akong bahala na yan. It's not like that at all. And in fact, even on our end, we will only deploy funds.
Hindi mo naman naintindihan, Karen Davila, oo ka na oo eh. Tanga ka naman eh.
So, money laundering does not come into it.
Thank you very much, Ms. Karen Davila.
Stupid question,
Next,
stupid
we have
answer.
Cheryl Cousin of TV5. Good afternoon, Mr. President. I'm Cheryl Cousin representing TV5. And so we're doing one team. So ibig sabihin mo nung 6 questions, pwede.
Ikaw talaga nakakatawa ka. Ikaw talaga. Nag-joke ka pa, wala nang oras, sartado ka.
And your administration.
Ay, ikaw talaga, kotem ha. Pakotem ka.
You granted former PMS Chief Naida Angking's leave after she asked for personal time for herself and her family. What made you appoint her as ambassador to France, considering she never held any diplomatic post before this? And who will replace her?
Well, I need to use this.
Sir,
Okay,
since-
well, the situation with Secretary Naida was that it was a personal decision on her.
Anyway, hindi ko na pahabain to. That was a valid question. Why are you gonna put somebody there na wala namang karanasan as ambassador. Ang sinabi niya dito, I'll cut it short kasi ang haba ng sagot niya na nakakairita, no? Na mabagal yung thought. Ang sinasabi niya, galing daw siya sa foreign affairs of China, embassy ng China, embassy ng US, wherein we're having a lot of problems. So, ano na siya, what do you call this, career international officer, no? But later on, in-admit niya na nag-leave kasi kukuha pa ng course in international relation. Okay? So, forward ko na lang,
Administration, may mga comments po ang mga senador that na mag-appoint na po kayo na secretary po sa DA and other groups para na daw po mas matutukan ang ahensya. Your comment on that?
Anyway, di ba valid naman yung question? Tangina. I mean, kung hindi ka naman talaga palpak yung pagpapatakbo mo, okay, the sibuyas problem alone hindi mo na-solve. Presidente ka, ano pa naman yung buksan mo lahat yung mga pa-inventory mo lahat kung may sibuyas na tinatago or wala. Simple. Ilan yung stocks na pwede ibenta? Ilan yung ma-harvest next week, next coming week, etc.
If for recently, there really are things that I can do that if there was a secretary and he or she did it, hindi magagawa pero matagal, madaming diskusyon and
Matagal. Ikaw nga matagal eh. Parati ka kasi nasa abroad.
come up there. Well, the president, they cannot say no to. And
They cannot say no to, di naman ikaw nagpapaanda ng ano mo, ng gobyerno mo.
so that incident happened right after I had returned from China. So we have immediately used that thing, that mechanism that I talked about. Sinabi we can immediately contact the Chinese government, and hopefully, though our counterparts on the other side can bring it to President Xi's attention, this problem, and we have done that. But that does not preclude us from continuing to make protests and continuing to send note verbals concerning this. But this is a long process because it is something new.
Meaning to say, pumunta kang China, nagkaroon kayo ng agreement, and yet, pagbalik mo rito, inattack yung fishing vessel. Inattack yung fishing boat. So ano yung use ng pagpunta mo sa China? Sagutin mo. Kababalik mo lang, biglang inatake yung mga fishing vessel.
I just hope we can come to some kind of arrangement because I cannot see
Arrangement, kaya ka pumunta para sa arrangement, di ba? Dapat tapos yung arrangement pagpunta mo doon. Dapat doon yung agenda mo. Ito gagawin natin walang sitahan. Pag fishing vessel, pabayaan nyo. Mangisda.
the utility for the Chinese of doing that. These fishing boats are not armed, they don't pose a threat to anyone. So I think that is something that we can achieve in the near. Nagpapasok na tayo ng sibuyas, nagpapasok na tayo ng asukal. So kahit paano, the supply will feed the demand at mababa ang presyo. Kaya yun ang para sa akin ay the reason na tinitingnan ang Pilipinas na magandang performance dahil sa ibang bagay. Kasi maghanap ka ng bansa na 7.1% ang growth rate, na bumaba ng 4.2% ang unemployment rate, na mas mababa ngayon kaysa sa bago ng pandemya. Ibig sabihin, nakapag-create tayo ng halos 2 million jobs mula noong 2020 hanggang ngayon. At yung pati yung peso, medyo tumibay na. Kaya palagay ko, yun, hindi lang ang inflation, kasi lahat naman ng ibang bansa, ganyan din ang inflation. Kaya kung titignan ninyo, ay sasabihin, ito yung mga ibang bagay na kaya kahit matibay. Kaya nabuo.
Anyway, just to explain to you guys, the economic growth of the Philippines is really true. It's progressive, no? But I don't think it's 7.1, something like 6.5. Okay, I think we're the second highest in Asia next to Vietnam. Okay, but the problem is like it's not because of your doing. Okay? Wala kinalaman to sa gobyerno mo. Palpak yung gobyerno mo eh. Kung sino-sino mga appoint, nagiging revolving door. Tatanggalin mo si ganito, papasok mo si ganito, tatanggalin mo na naman, papasok mo si ganito. It reflects your personality, Mr. President. Di ba? It reflects na you don't have any stability within yourself. You cannot even make a decision which is final and firm, katulad ni Duterte. Okay? Let's go back to the economy. Thanks to the Filipino people na maraming balikbayan umuwi nung tinanggal na yung mga restrictions in terms of quarantine, in terms of the forms, the long lines. So inayos yon ng Duterte government, no? So now everything is moving fast. So maraming umuwi at yung mga balikbayan na yon, yun ang gumastos. At yung mga nag-remit ng pera from OFW na ini-ignore mo na ngayon, salamat ka doon dahil they are the one feeding the economy. Alam niyo ba ang biggest economic factors ng GDP natin is local consumption? It's not even export. And it's not even pag-core. Okay? Local consumption, meaning pag gumagastos ka sa restaurant, that's a part of it. You are contributing to the economic growth of the country.
Gumawa kasi wala namang VIP noon eh. Nangyari lang yan dahil nagpe-present tayo doon sa Davos at marami tayong pinakita, marami tayong paliwanag, marami tayong diskusyon sa kanila. Sabi niya, kasama na kayo doon sa grupo, yung Vietnam, Indonesia, and Philippines. So sa Asia, yun ang tatlo na uunahin nilang tingnan as investment destinations.
Pero ito pong performance natin sa ekonomiya ay siguro in the following months or days mararamdaman din. Karaniwang.
Siyempre, hindi naman kasi basta magpasok ako ng ilang tonelada ng sibuyas, bukas bababa na yung presyo. It has to go, dadaan pa sa sistema yan. It takes a little while. Pero,
nakita niyo yung sagot, ang layo. Di ba napunta sa sibuyas? Napunta sa importation ng sibuyas. Ang tinatanong nung reporter na yon, yung economic growth na sinasabi mo na 7.1, mafe-feel na ba ng Pilipino yon in the next coming month or 2 months, 3 months, or after 1 year? Biglang you will reflect on the sibuyas na hindi naman agad-agad dyan eh. Well, actually, mali ka pa rin. Pag nag-import ka ng sibuyas, bababa talaga sibuyas kaagad. Ano sasabi mong matagal ang process? Yung economic growth, before it dwindles down to the poorest, it will take, cycle yan eh. Ang una makikinabang dyan are the corporations. Okay? So the revenues, because bumibili kayo ng alak, ng Red Horse, so kikita niyan sino ba may Red Horse? San Miguel. So from San Miguel, gagawa naman siya ng mga new projects. So yung new projects, papagawa siya ng Skyway, mag-hire ngayon siya ng mga trabador. So that will contribute to the job creation para magpagawa ng mga Skyway. So makikinabang, yung pa lang yung time na makikinabang si Juan de la Cruz. Okay? Una mo nagsasalo ng kayamanan yung mga corporation, mga mayayaman. Okay? Then it goes down to the stock market. Then, after mag-create nila ng mga yung pera nila, saan na i-invest, swerte tayo kung i-invest sila back to the Philippines. But what if, like Jollibee, they are buying left and right food chains abroad, okay? And they're building stores outside of the Philippines. So yun ang problema natin doon.
hindi naman ganun katagal. This year talaga, yan ang problema kung hindi nagpapatulog sa akin yung inflation. That's what I lose sleep every night over is how to bring down inflation. So,
Okay. Alam mo, pag presidente ka, kung ako siguro presidente, napakadali niyan eh. Di ba? Okay, bigas. Number one, raided mo yung mga bodega. Sabi ko na yan, raided mo yung mga bodega, check the inventory, ilan kung magkano, you know what? What you can do, you could have subsidized it. Okay? Katulad nung ginawa ni Aimee doon sa ano ba, Kadiwa Center, something like that, no? You have to subsidize it because the inflation really affects the economic growth of the people themselves. Nagugutom sila. Ano ba naman yung mag-abono ka doon sa bigas? Abonohan mo yung diesel fuel. Tanggalin nyo yung VAT na, na, na although Duterte rejected it. Okay? Duterte rejected it. Ang reason ni Duterte, pati hindi niya maalis-alis, 12% yun ha, tandaan nyo ha, yung excise tax ng gasolina, malaki rin yun. So kung 70 pesos ang diesel, ang ano nun is, bali, 7 pesos plus 140, 840 ang excise tax nun. So ang laking bagay pag tatanggalin mo excise tax. Bakit hindi ginawa ni Duterte? Because lumalaki na yung debt to GDP ratio natin. Dumadami yung utang natin dahil nga doon sa COVID. Umutang tayo ng maraming pera sa COVID because of the economic bankruptcy. What happened? Walang negosyo. So the government has to, what do you call this, allocate the funds through subsidies. Correct? Ginawa naman sa Amerika, ginawa sa ibang country yan. So, hindi po may Duterte. Pero for me, may point siya, pero may point din ako siguro tanggalin ko 5%. Kasi diyan nagsisimula natin sa langis. Okay? Ang inflation. High prices of diesel. Siyempre, commodity yan. Kuryente. O power plant natin, diesel. Di ba? To bring the food from the gagamit ng gasolina. Magtatrabaho ka, gasolina. So, it's the source that yun ang dapat unang inatake. Sinubsidize. Hindi ko naman sinabing forever. Kasi matatanggal din naman yan, bababa naman yung like what happened now, bumaksak na yung crude prices because nagsawa na yung tao kaka-speculate doon sa gera sa Ukraine. Do you get me? So, sandali lang sana ang panahon yon na nag-subsidize kayo para yung inflation hindi umangat. Tapos pinabayaan nyo pa yung mga fucking hoarders. Hindi nyo man, wala ka kayo na ituro eh. Diba, nung kay Duterte, putangin na, binubuksan yung mga warehouse, yung mga nag-hoard. Economic sabotage yun eh. Ba't kayo wala nangyayaring ganon? Tingnan lason.
To bring down, to make sure that the inflation starts to come down in the first quarter and mag-normalize na.
Yung second question ko po, foreign travels din, ang kuna naman ng iba, bakit ba ang Pangulo ay travel and travel? Ang dami namang problema sa bansa. Ano ba ang, sa tingin po ninyo, mahal na Pangulo, yung travel ninyo talagang merong immediate effect sa mga Pilipino?
Oo. Nauubos yung pera ng taong bayan. Kasi kung sino-sino pa mga sinasama nila. Alam mo, breaking record. Siya lang ang unang presidente na who sat in power for less than 7 months and had 8 trips.
Hindi, proseso yan. Proseso yan. Hindi yan yung pupunta ka tapos kakausapin mo yung yung person nagustuhan ka. Ito malaking pera sa'yo na. Hindi gano'n. Magpapakilala muna tayo. Dahil pagka hindi tayo bumahay at nagpakita dyan sa mga conference na yan, hindi tayo iniisip. Wala sa isip nila ang Pilipinas. Siniisip lang nila, dito tayo sa Vietnam, doon tayo sa Indonesia, o doon tayo sa China, doon tayo kung saan-saan. Hindi Pilipinas ang iniisip. Kailangan natin ipakita ang ating ginagawa para naman mapaganda ang potential na investment nila na dadalhin nila dito sa Pilipinas. Yun ang halaga ng mga biyahe yan. At hindi lang yun. At meron din dahil sa halimbawa sa Davos ay
yung mga undeclared trips. Baka nakakalimot mo, Mr. President, meron ka undeclared. Nung pumunta ka Singapore, di ba? F1. Diba?
Ay ang subject matter laging pinag-uusapan ay how do we cooperate in a fragmented world? Dahil nagkaka-fragmentation na raw ang buong mundo dahil sa mga pangyayari sa pandemya, sa Ukraine. Paano ngayon paano ngayon natin ibabalik ang kooperasyon? Dahil naman sa ayon naman lahat sa pag-iisip na ang kooperasyon na sa bawat bansa ay mahalaga at hindi kakayanin ng kahit sinong gaano kayaman na bansa.
Alam mo, hindi ko makuha. Kung sinasabi niya cooperation between country or whatever, asan yung sense no, o yung subject ng topic?
Na nag-iisa. Kailangan may mga partner yan, kailangan may kaalyado yan. Kaya yun naman ay pagpunta natin sa mga ganyang conference, ay masasabi natin, the Philippines can play this part in fostering or in encouraging that cooperation. May lugar tayo. We are participating in the event, in the issues and the discussion and in our efforts in the community of nations. Kasi kailangan din, kasama tayo dyan. Pangatlo, I'm the new kid on the block. Nobody knows who I am. Kailangan ko magpakilala. Kasi pag sabi, bago ito.
May plaka ka siguro ng New Kids on the Block, no? Okay. Anyway, ikaw hindi kilala, anak ni President Marcos. Imposible naman yon. Kaya lang kilala kayo. Hindi mo na kailangan, kahit sa pumunta, buong bansa, buong mundo, kilala na kayo. So, anong papakilala?
Sino ba to? May alam ba ito? Tama ba yung mga ginagawa? O ano bang klaseng tao yan? Yun ang mga, that's important also na magkaroon ng personal sa mga leader na kaya ko ngayon, hindi ko kaya gawin yun. Dati, ngayon kaya kong buhatin ng telepono, tumawag dyan sa lahat, tatanggapin naman ang tawag ko. At meron na kami mapapag-usapan. And that's very, very important. Kasi
Important daw. Bakit tatawagan mo na ba si Biden ngayon? Eh sa China nga hindi mo napigilan yung inattack yung fishing vessel Ano sinasabi mo? Na isang tawagan. Baka probably hindi mo alam telephone number nun
yun na nga, like in President Xi's case, siguro, never pa tayo nagkaroon ng contact at that level. Ngayon, dito nga sa mga ASEAN, sa mga APEC, nakilala ko na sila lahat. Mas kahit pa paano, meron ka ng koneksyon doon sa mga tao yan. So that's important. That's very important, lalo na. Ito nga, yung pagaya na sinasabi sa Davos, in this fragmented world.
Salamat.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Anyway, I have to cut this short because it's too long. It's so hard to render a long video. So this is like what? Probably I'm more than 30 minutes now because the video is like 25 minutes and I keep on talking. No? So let's end this first. I'll render this, then let's do a part 2. Okay, thanks. So I need to stop recording.